Maruti Suzuki Cricket Live, and two of them already in our studios with Brendan McCullum and Kumar Sangakkara. And the real question that I have for them, when a captain says something in a post-match conference like, I really don't have words to describe what happened, you can feel the pain from Virat Kohli. Now is the time, guys, you've got to turn it around.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, 3 games down, there's only one team, Mumbai Indians, that have lost 4 games. Hopefully they stumble on the right combination. Probably similar to what they did last year in the back end of the tournament where they stumbled on the right combination. And look, ultimately, when sometimes there are no answers, you just got to stand up and keep on swinging. And hopefully that talent that they possess in that lineup, if they can just stand up there, clear their minds and play their natural games, then they'll have a chance with a few changes.
Sanga, you think they've hit the panic button?
I don't think they'll panic, but they do understand that they actually get your best bowling lineup on the park no matter what, and trust the batting to the work that is needed. If you try to achieve a perfect balance, they haven't been able to do it for a few years now, they're not the season as well.
Well, you got to remember, sometimes fortune does in fact favour the brave. You need that little bit of luck that Virat Kohli mentioned. Let's find out. It's on the show. Look forward to. Great to see Virat Kohli when he is having a good time. But I tell you what, Sanga mentioned it. Kings 11 Punjab yesterday. Sam Curran, the first hat-trick that we've seen in this season. At the end, they quite literally won.
I can't believe they won that game, to be honest. To take 7 for 8 in the closing stages. That team's got a bit of heart about them. They've got a bit of fight in them, and they're going to be tough as this.
Started this season once again on the bottom, and that is a struggle for them. How do they get past it? How do they get past the net run rate as well? Virat Kohli walks into the Savai Man Singh Stadium today knowing that he has plenty of wrinkles that he needs to iron out. So certainly the pressure is on, isn't it? And you can understand, Sanga, put your captain's hat back on, because for Virat Kohli
is a problem and you don't have the options to get that going, then make sure that your bowlers are top-notch and you can break through when it comes to other sides. So get your bowling sorted.
Now he's the best death bowler, so for me, he plays. The other thing you need to do is you're only as strong as your weakest link in your environment, upper level as well, and then that will take the pressure off Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers, and you actually get a complete team performance.
You're talking about moments, you're talking often about the margin of errors as well. Both teams actually need to keep that in mind, not just RCB, but Rajasthan Royals, who would look back at their past 3 games and wonder, should we have really lost those games and still not have points on the board? So when the going gets tough, you turn to your mentors, your brand ambassadors, people like Shane Warne to say, help us out, Warnie. But hang on a second, Shane Warne himself just found himself in a difficult position. Take a look.
As well, so I think we're in for a really good contest. This pitch looks a good one.
Well, first and foremost, we have to figure out what the teams wanted. That's exactly what Sanga's trying to do. He's like, okay, if I was Virat Kohli, if I was Ajinkya Rahane, I would try and get my team. I'll give you a few more seconds, Sanga, because we'll go to Baz first.
I need the fielding part.
I know, you need to just see there and be like, okay, who's going to do what? So Baz, you first. Changes for RCB?
Yeah, I would, and I would have started with this team right at the start of the. Then I bring Saudi in, and then you've obviously got Umesh Yadav, Siraj and Chahal.
So that you keep the same. What about you, Sanga? What would you change?
Well, I haven't, I think Hetmai is a great player in certain instances, but not at the moment. I'd actually have Moeen Ali. He probably scores a little bit more runs and gives you the option of off-spin.
Okay. And there's your team, Sanga.
Moeen Ali, I would still back Moeen Ali.
So you're Stoinis at the top, is that right?
No, I will have Stoinis batting down the middle.
Okay.
I don't think he should open. I just think that Virat Kohli batting at 3 still gives the Royal Challengers a better balance when it comes to batting.
Well, I tell you what. The best eyebrow in the business, Danny Morrison there. But you heard Virat at the toss and said, look, this is probably what we wanted to do, so it actually suits him. And it goes back to that. He said, sometimes you need a little bit of luck to go in your favour. Maybe he's okay with this toss.
Yeah, I actually think it'll help RCB. Less pressure when you're batting.
We'll get the teams into you, but our phone pay super player to watch out for, of course, who else is Virat Kohli? Now, Virat Kohli this season.
And when he walks out to bat, he's got to forget about the fact he's captain and he's focused on watching the ball and playing as good as what he can.
And also where he bats, that's the ultimate one, isn't it? But really, when it comes to Virat Kohli, there's so many ideas out there. He is the most watched batsman in the world. What is the game plan here? Our Asian Paints game plan with Pinga. Thanks so much for that, Bengal. Gentlemen, we're going to cross across now actually to the Savai Mansingh Stadium in Jaipur because Kevin Peterson is standing by. KP, great to have you back on the show with us on Maruti Suzuki Cricket Live. So RCB batting first, all focus on Virat Kohli, someone you know really, really well. How do you think his approach needs to be in this match in particular?
He's just got to take away. I mean, I just heard what match presentation with Binger the other night. Him and De Villiers, that combination. Now, who knows where they're going to bat now? Stoinis has been thrown back into the rod, so we'll have to wait and see. But from Virat's perspective, he's got to forget the captains. He's got to forget everything that happens on the periphery. When he walks out there, he's got to concentrate on that ball and he's got to score runs. He just has to do it. He's the leader and he's a wonderful player. We all know that.
But KP, how does he forget the captaincy? I mean, he is the captain, so it is going to filter in somewhere down the order. When you're coming off 3 losses, Virat, the leader, has a different challenge.
He loves his football, he's a competitor, he's got a lot of energy for the game, but at the end of the day, he's got to lead from the front. Be the good captain, do what he needs to do, but he has to score runs. The others will follow if Virat scores runs.
What about Mr. 360 himself? Couple of dismissals to spin. You must have seen him on the ground now. What does he need to keep in mind as well?
Yeah, I mean, look, De Villiers is what De Villiers is. When you're not playing cricket all the time round, to be consistent.
Thanks so much for that, KP. I know it's so loud out there, but you did a brilliant job of holding everything together. We've struggled in the past, but we got through this one.
We did it, we're good.
We did it. We're going to miss you in our studios here. But, you know, just to pick up what he said from Mr. 360's point of view as well, because they are the 2 pillars and they want to be in a situation where they want to bat as much as possible. Let's have a look at the team.
And that's some of the areas, where the Rajasthan Royals have been lacking. The icing on the cake, you know, job of getting over the line when they've come so close and failed. It's almost equally devastating, like being completely blown away as RCB has. Sometimes it's even more draining because you always go back thinking, oh, just one more run here, we could have won. A little bit more here. At least RCB goes back and think we had no chance, right? We were never in the game. So they might actually come here with a fresher perspective, having everything to play for, thinking, well, we'll just go out there and play, and hopefully that'll work.
Look, things are hard for both teams at the moment. You can understand that, but you've got to keep the team spirit and the team camaraderie going, and sometimes you just have to take the pressure off yourselves. Virat Kohli completely unplugged. Take a look. That's a lot of fun. We'll continue to bring things like that to you across in our coverage. But for now, the MRF key battle, ABD, Mr. 360, up against Shreyas Gopal. You remember Shreyas Gopal against...
It's just how he starts against it.
Yeah, it just takes him a little bit of time to read that ball off the pitch. And when you lose that little bit of time, it gets a bit difficult to really attack the spin. I agree with Baz. He hasn't read it, but later on in the dugout, we might not talk about it, but we'll actually show you why.
Well, fair enough. That's why you need to be watching that. But it's my favorite. Oh, he was dynamite. So now time for our Go Ibibo predictions. Who is going to be dynamite today? Because you need match winners from both teams today, whether it's going to be a Ben Stokes who just almost finished it off, whether it's a Virat Kohli himself. Who's your match winner from these? I'm not even asking the teams, but who's your match winner today? Who is your star player today? Nice.
Josh Butler.
But you didn't even think about it.
I know what's going to happen.
You sure you don't want to take like a few more seconds? You know, Sangha really thought about it.
Yeah, no, I think Josh Butler.
59 is what the Rajasthan Royals need. That means that under 160 is what RCB scored. Let's quickly have a look at our top stories because the man of the moment, the man who's quite literally in the pit, and that is what we leave you with. In fact, this is what I want to leave you with. What's happened there? Can you see? It says 204. This is what Brendan McCallum said his former team, RCB, would score.
Well, it is, yeah. Well, I thought that they were going to really up the ante, but unfortunately...
I'll tell you why they didn't up the ante, because of this. Because of Shreyas Gopal. How thrilling was that? Why are they not being able to pick the spin? Why are they not being able to pick the googly?
Well, I think that the danger ball for them is one that comes back into the stumps. The one that goes away doesn't tend to have too much impact on them. But because they're unsure which way the ball's spinning, they're exposing themselves a little bit and bringing in the LBW bold options. We've talked about it leading into the game about maybe an option for
have to take a lesson from his Parthiv Patel, bit of a lone warrior. You know, in the previous couple of games, 159 now is what the Rajasthan Royals need to chase at home. And have a look at this in our Volta School Facts. It'll be an interesting chase. Be changing any predictions. You said Joss Butler was your man. Is he still your man for the day?
100%. I think it just started to skid on as well towards the end. So maybe a little bit of due. I think it's an under par total to chase, and Butler will come out and be very aggressive at the start.
Once again to leg spin, to the googly, and funnily enough, playing for Bengaluru, to a Bengaluru boy playing for Rajasthan Royals. That just is what happens in the Vivo IPL, and that perhaps, Sangha, I mean, those 2 wickets, those were the defining moments because the batting is built around these two.
Yeah, it's just an exceptional spell by Gopal. I just love the way he bowls, his variations, he's in total...
Well, the thing is, he's done it before. He's picked up these two as well in the, last year. So it's not something that he hasn't done. But why can't you pick up the googly? What would be so troublesome to be able to do that?
Sometimes it takes a while, and sometimes the answer is I just don't know why it's taking batsmen so long to pick it up.
And that's to Indian batsmen?
I think quite a few batsmen playing in the Vivo IPL. It's not just something that's happening this season. It happened last season.
Yes, against it then, because as you said, you're going to face it quite a bit.
Oh, well, you'll have enough bowlers in the nets to practice against.
Well, it just kind of leads me on to the Oppo moment of the day, because really, what else could it be but Shreyas Gopal picking up those... We spoke about Virat Kohli as a leader, as a batsman. Got 4 losses now. Where do you go from here?
I think he made a good point towards the end of his after-match interview.
Needs to be done here for RCB and Virat Kohli. For the moment, let's cross over back for the post-match presentation. Jaipur, and I tell you what, it's given us so much to talk about. For the moment, let's have a look at our Mayanti season key. Top mood. Well, he'd certainly be pleased with that, but for a player like Virat Kohli, who likes challenges, who likes stepping up to the plate when the going gets tough, what a hard day it must be, because he couldn't get the runs today for his team. The amount of drop catches in these fields, the moments, it all...
Away from the game for a day.
Well, that's virtually almost like what you have.
But it's almost impossible to get away from the game of cricket, but they've got to somehow go, you know what, all right, tools down, boys, we're not training tomorrow. It's going to be a day off. We're going to go and watch a movie together, go to a theme park, go and do something that's away from the sport of cricket, and then switch back on again, and that might help them and refresh them.
Well, that's certainly what happened to Joss Butler. I'm guessing today a thumbs-up charge performance of the day, because the way that he...
Surprising was that they still managed to keep 5 runs to get in that last over, which to me was not very smart, because when you...
They didn't take any wickets. They need to get wickets, and I reckon the best way to get Butler is to get spin on early and try and make a false shot. So I reckon they missed a trick with that.
And we go back to the point, they've watched spinners and wrist spinners do so well.
Yeah.
And they dropped the...
They're changing seats every time they hop on the bus.
That's also what's happening, and how you exit the bus.
Yeah.
Moin started mowing at the end. I mean, it's hard. What you can understand when things are just not going your way, but things certainly went the way of Jafra Archer in our Swiggy fastest delivery of the day.
Possibly the best, I don't know what you think, but I reckon he's got the best Yorker, fastball Yorker, landing in, as I call it, the box.
Yeah.
He could bowl 4 overs to death. Just say, mate, you're not bowling, had the first 12 overs off. You come on and you bowl gas, just bowl, 4 overs of Yorkers.
I think Bingham's got a very good point there, because I feel Jafra Archer is in that kind of weapon to get on top of him, and it could work the other way.
And then I think that he has to revert back to bowling a slower ball and also the bouncer, because that's what you've got to do when you bowl in that particular time frame. Whereas you bowl to death, you can actually be allowed to bowl.
Is the format that obviously is really, really tough, because everyone knows each other very well. Well, 2 rivals who know each other very well will be at the Wankhede tomorrow. Oh yes, you don't want to miss out when Chennai Super Kings take on Mumbai Indians.